It's okay. I get it. Nico glanced over, pain and misery washing across his face. No, you don't, he said. There's no way you can understand. And so you run away again, Cupid chided. From your friends, from yourself. I don't have friends, Nico yelled. I left Camp Half-Blood because I don't belong. I'll never belong. The skeletons had Cupid pinned now, but the invisible god laughed so cruelly that Jason wanted to summon another bolt of lightning. Unfortunately, he doubted he had the strength. Leave him alone, Cupid, Jason croaked. This isn't... His voice failed. He wanted to say this wasn't Cupid's business, but he realized this was exactly Cupid's business. Something Favonius said kept buzzing in his ears. Are you shocked? The story of Psyche finally made sense to him. Why a mortal girl would be so afraid. Why she would risk breaking the rules to look at the god of love in the face. Because she feared he might be a monster. Psyche had been right. Cupid was a monster. Love was the most savage monster of all. Nico's voice was like broken glass. I wasn't in love with Annabeth. You were jealous of her, Jason said. That's why you didn't want to be around her. Especially why you didn't want to be around him. It makes total sense. All the fight and denial seemed to go out of Nico at once. The darkness subsided. The Roman dead collapsed into bones and crumbled to dust. I hated myself, Nico said. I hated Percy Jackson. Cupid became visible. A lean, muscular young man with snowy white wings, straight black hair, a simple white frock and jeans. The bow and quiver slung over his shoulder were no toys. They were weapons of war. His eyes were as red as blood, as if every Valentine in the world had been squeezed dry, distilled into one poisonous mixture. His face was handsome, but also harsh, as difficult to look at as a spotlight. He watched Nico with satisfaction, as if he'd identified the exact spot for his next arrow to make a clean kill. I had a crush on Percy, Nico spat. That's the truth. That's the big secret. He glared at Cupid. Happy now? For the first time, Cupid's gaze seemed sympathetic. Oh, I wouldn't say love always makes you happy. His voice sounded smaller, much more human. Sometimes it makes you incredibly sad, but at least you've faced it now. That's the only way to conquer me. Cupid dissolved into the wind. On the ground where he'd stood lay an ivory staff 3 feet long, topped with a dark globe of polished marble about the size of a baseball, nestled on the backs of 3 gold Roman eagles, the scepter of Diocletian. Nico knelt and picked it up. He regarded Jason as if waiting for an attack. If the others found out, Jason said, you'd have that many more people to back you up, and to unleash the fury of the gods on anybody who gives you trouble. Nico scowled. Jason still felt the resentment and anger rippling off him. But it's your call, Jason added. Your decision to share or not. I can only tell you, I don't feel that way anymore, Nico muttered. I gave up on Percy. I was young and impressionable, and I don't... His voice cracked, and Jason could tell the guy was about to get teary-eyed. Whether Nico had really given up on Percy or not, Jason couldn't imagine what it had been like for Nico all those years, keeping a secret that would have been unthinkable to share in the 1940s, denying who he was, feeling completely alone, even more isolated than other demigods. Nico, he said gently, I've seen a lot of brave things, but what you just did, that was maybe the bravest.